Welcome back, AP. So in class, well, first of all, I hope all of y'all that helped out with open house, I wanted to say thank you personally from the school. It was great. We had a good time. I know some of y'all are probably a little burnt out right now, but trust me, this is not going to be very long. All we're really doing is wrapping up kind of Protestantism in England, talking about the reign of Henry VIII, his marriages, his council, etc., 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 and kind of his methodology behind why he did this, etc., etc., etc. So let's keep going where we left off in class. Right now, we left off talking about how Henry VIII is going to separate the Catholic Church from England, or due to the fact that he wanted his marriage to Catherine of Aragon annulled, and how Charles V is going to push back against that simply because he had more power than the Pope at the time, Clement VII, because that was actually his aunt, etc. Blah 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 blah. Right. So anyway, now first and foremost, when he separates the church, he's going to become the supreme head of the Church of England, known as the Anglican Church, right? So many of people are going to oppose this move. Not an overwhelming majority, but a lot of people still in general. Amongst them actually was his chancellor, right? His chancellor to the crown, Sir Thomas More, the author of Utopia, who is actually going to be, unfortunately, beheaded due to this entire event, right? Now, anyway, that right there, that's actually a woodcut of the beheading of Sir Thomas More. And then Anne, unfortunately, Anne Boleyn, after he marries her, following the annulment of his marriage, Anne is not going to produce a male child after 2 tries. One was a failed pregnancy, died in childbirth, and the other one was Elizabeth I, right? The future leader of England. Now, he charged her with incest, and then there's, of course, an old story that she had an extra finger on one of her hands and accused of her of being a witch, and she is also going to be beheaded later on. So, the progression so far is Catherine of Aragon divorced, and Anne Boleyn died, beheaded. Okay, so let's keep going, though. And then his third wife is Jane Seymour. Now, Jane Seymour was another courtly lady who's going to produce a male child, finally, named Edward VI, all right? But she is going to die in childbirth. Not Edward, but she dies in childbirth, right? So Jane Seymour just dies, okay? There's nothing you can do about that. That's her right there. And this is going to be his next wife, Catherine Howard, and then down here at the very, very bottom is going to be his third and final wife, Catherine Parr, all right? So anyway, well, let's keep going. Now, there we go. So, Henry went on to have 3 more wives following these events. He was Anne of Cleves, right, who was actually, fun story behind this, they were divorced because it seemed that Henry was never attracted to her, right? So, they never actually even consummated their marriage. Anne of Cleves is actually going to remain a virgin until after their divorce. Now, he chalked it up to a lot of different things. People in the empire said, oh, it's because, he's getting much older, he can't consummate the marriage anymore. And then a lot of other people are going to, and then Henry himself, though, is actually going to say, no, it's because I don't think she's pretty, she has really bad breath, and also her body is just not appetizing to me. So the guy that actually encouraged him to marry Anne of Cleves because she was a Germanic woman, she was a Germanic royalty, was a guy named Thomas Cromwell. Now, Thomas Cromwell is his archbishop of this new Anglican church, right? Now, due to the fact that he pushed this, Henry is actually going to accuse him of treason later on and have him beheaded as well. But everyone really knows, and most of the historical community agrees, that he was actually beheaded because he was the one that pressured Henry VIII into this marriage, okay? So, Catherine Howard later, she will be beheaded because she's actually going to cheat on Henry VIII with his courtier, Thomas Culpeper. And then also, Catherine Parr, his final wife, is going to survive and actually live out her days as the Queen of England. Okay? Now, anyway, well, let's keep going, finish up some little odds and ends. So the Anglican Church is going to actually retain, because here's the thing really quick, you should probably write this down. Theologically, Henry VIII, very conservative, right? He didn't really want to separate the Catholic Church just for his divorce or whatever. He also wanted to separate it due to political reasons, so he'd have more ability to be able to actually confiscate things and become supreme head of the new church, right? So, the Anglican Church is going to retain most Catholic rituals due to this conservative view, right? They can retain confession, a celibate clergy, and the ideas of transubstantiation with the Eucharist as well. Later on, though, and that's Henry VIII, and this right here, that's Thomas Cromwell. Later on, though, God, Henry VIII, you are a goofy-looking dude. Now, Henry later, however, is going to dissolve English monasteries due to the fact that he wants to strip their land and wealth. He's going to then use a lot of those church lands for the enclosure system, so he also sees a giant economic benefit to separating the Catholic and the Catholicism in England. So you could say, honestly, right now, his three biggest motives are social, economic, and then as well as being, what's the word I'm looking for? Social, economic, and, personal, right? So anyway, now keep going, though. Strips of the lands in favor of the enclosure system, and Cromwell, his chief minister, is actually going to push a lot of these early reforms before his beheading due to the fact that he encouraged him to marry a woman that he wasn't even attracted to. Anyway, but last couple of things. Come on. Ireland is going to remain devoutly Catholic, all right? And many of their rights, though, and property are going to be stripped and actually sold by the English. So Henry VIII is going to see the ability to, strip Catholic monuments, strip Catholic items, strip those things away from the Irish, sell them, and then actually benefit the English crown. There was a small rebellion that actually happened under the Irish, but it was quickly suppressed. And like I said, some small rebellions against the Anglican Church are going to pop up after the shift, but they were quickly pushed down. All right, so there wasn't ever really any kind of pushback too heavily against the Anglican Church until Mary Tudor comes in next and actually ends up trying to take it back to Catholicism after the short reign of her brother and things like that. But we will talk about those things on Monday, and I will see you guys then. All right, so we got to just wrapped up Henry VIII in England, and we're going to keep pushing forward, and then we got to finish up the Reformation, talk exploration stuff, and then we're going to be actually done with the first term unit. So we actually should be looking to have our next test by midway through, not this coming week, but the week after. All right, so I will see you guys then, AP. Have a great evening, all right?